ready for it. Come on, really Thanks for joining me.
What are you filming for?
Hello friends and neighbors, it's day 3 of NaNoWriMo. I am on 10,090 words, and I thought I would read a portion of my NaNoWriMo novel to you. I talked about doing this a couple of months ago, but I'm going to do the story where there's this time travel agency whose job it is to restore time as it's supposed to be and repair all these alternate timelines that keep cropping up with people traveling through time. And so this is the portion of the story where our protagonist, whose name is Elijah Leo Borowitz, yes, it's a name and a half, is being escorted around this time agency and is meeting the members of the Omega Team. The Omega Team is also known as the Last Resort Team. And this is after some exposition has already happened, so there are a couple of things that you need to know in order for things in this excerpt to make sense. First of all, the agency is called the Chrono Repair Agency, or CRA for short. And second, everybody has these chips embedded in their skin, which basically makes clothing seem to appear on your body so that you can walk around without actually wearing any clothing, but look like you're still wearing clothing. And with that little bit of 20-second exposition, here's the excerpt. The next time I was escorted through the building, I was introduced to the rest of the Omega Team. There were 7 of them all together, and the whole team kind of had that crime drama feel to it. Lisa, Liam, and Father Thaddeus I'd already met. Liam was the team leader with the chip on his shoulder and the quiet intensity, someone who doesn't always play by the rules. You could tell he'd been through a lot and had felt each and every one of the 8,406 timelines he'd repaired. Lisa was the newest field agent, the one who's eager to please and dives right in, but is still kind of a stickler for standards. My timeline had been her first mission. Father Thaddeus is the quiet older man, the mentor who usually stays behind. He was the only member of the team who didn't go into the field. Apparently every team was required to have a counselor, though Thaddeus was one of the few religious men they had on hand. I guess it makes sense when you think about it. When your perception of what's real and what's not is shaken like that, the concept of an all-powerful being becomes pretty ludicrous. Then you've got Lance, the quiet guy who everyone gravitates toward. Helen, the obligatory hard-nosed bitch who nobody likes. Penny, the seasoned kid who's been through everything but is still pretty childlike, and Gerard, the ladies' man who women scorn and yet find irresistible. I started to think that maybe this was all a dream with them. I mean, can you imagine this as its own crime drama? Law and Order, CRA. I think Penny was probably my favorite, just because she actually seemed to take to me. When Lisa introduced me to her, she all but squealed with excitement, like, "Oh my god, you're the guy from the timeline, I love it when we get new people." She bounced when she talked too. And her jumpsuit left very little to the imagination. That was another weird thing, the whole camouflage chip under my skin. I mean, I understand the necessity and it is more efficient, I guess, but I mean, I was technically naked. We were all technically naked. At least I assumed. I guess you wouldn't have to be, like, for cold weather and stuff. Anyway, when Penny started bouncing excitedly like that, it was really hard to focus on anything other than the fact that she was technically probably naked. So there you go, I'm sure that made absolutely no sense to you, but that's part of what I've written so far. Penny, incidentally, was just a name that I needed to fill in a space, and she became this really interesting character that I'm actually spending a lot more time with now, so that's fun. A couple more NaNoWriMo related things. First of all, I've made a couple of NaNoWriMo related videos in the past. One is a song that I wrote 2 years ago called 1,667 Words, and another is advice on how to bump up your word count. Both of those videos will be linked in the description if you would like to watch them, but I'm thinking I would like to make another NaNoWriMo advice type video, like the ways to bump up your word count one. So if you have any questions on things that you would like me to give you advice on that's NaNoWriMo related, please just leave those in the comments and I'll pick 1 or 2 and maybe do those later this month. Second, I have been challenged to a word war by Alto Your Clef, and I accept your challenge, Chloe. I'm just not going to be able to do it until after this weekend because I'm going on a retreat. But sometime next week, you and I will have our word war. And you're going down. And that's it for me. Until next time, this is Matt Guyan saying 39,911 words to go. Hey everyone, a little King of the Web post-outro plugging. I will try to maintain all of my soliciting for votes after the outro, so you can ignore it if you want. But last I checked, I had a little over 250 votes, and I've broken into the top 50 in the overall competition and into the top 10 in my particular category, so that's pretty exciting. So keep those votes coming. Remember that you can vote 10 times every day, and you do not have to vote 10 times for me. In fact, there are a lot of great candidates for you to vote for. I would encourage you, for example, to cast some of your votes towards the Munchkin, who is actually going to use whatever winning she gets to help her get into the school that she wants. And Adam the Alien and Leslie Found Her Grail are both a couple of very awesome vloggers who are running for King of the Web, so cast some votes for them if you feel so inclined. And now, back to my purple lollipop. Start again. I'm going to stumble over typos and it's going to be great.